Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy, Bengaluru. This is hot topic of the day session. In this session, we will be discussing an important topic from UPSC prelims, mains as well as interview perspective. The topic for the day is about gig workers. Okay, recently there was an important news article in the Hindu which said that are the gig workers a part of India's labor data? Yes, but only technically. Okay, we'll understand what this is about and what are its implications, and also some data and statistics about this one. Okay, so gig and platform workers are included under broad economic activity categories in the periodic labor force survey, but not as a distinct classification, because gig workers are different from other economic activity categories, so they need a separate distinction. However, it is not given in the periodic labor force survey. This results in their invisibility in labor statistics, undermining targeted policy making. Okay, what is the idea of collecting data? So that there is a targeted policy making. If you are foregoing, if a particular section of the society such as gig workers become invisible, how can you make a policy on this? Okay, so that is what this article discusses about. So why does the current periodic labor force survey classification falls short? Okay, so they are, that is the gig workers are lumped into categories like self-employed, own account workers and casual laborers. Okay, unique features of gig workers are not captured. What are gig workers? Gig workers are working for Zomato, Swiggy, Blinkit, etc., etc. Okay, their features are not recognized here, such as algorithmic content of work. Okay, so their algorithm matches, only then they can get the work in Zomato, Swiggy, etc., etc. And then task-based multi-platform engagement, that is, there is no condition that a person should work in only one gig platform. Okay, so there is no condition such that, so a person A can either work in Swiggy, can either work in Ola, can either work in Uber, or can either work in Zomato. Okay, based on the his flexibility. Absence of formal contracts, obviously there is no formal contracts provided for the gig workers. And income volatility, that is, if there are more orders in a particular day, their income will be high. If the distance is high, there will be income will be high. If they are working in the night, income will be high. Alternatively, during the day, less income, less orders, less income. So it is, there is a high volatile income volatility is there. Then lack of workplace safety or benefits. Okay, so they don't have a particular workplace, they will be working in the streets, collecting the food and then delivering, collecting the passengers, then making them reach their point. So there is no safe workplace for them. And example, a food delivery worker using Swiggy, Zomato and Blinkit may be counted as self-employed, obscuring the reality of precarious tech meditated labor. Okay, so this is why these features are not accounted in the current periodic labor force survey. And then, so what is the legal recognition? What's the statistical recognition? Are the gig workers recognized in any legal format? Okay, there is a law which recognizes gig workers and platform workers. That is, there is a legal framework exists, that is the Code on Social Security of 2020 defines gig as well as platform workers. There are provisions for social security funds and welfare boards are in place for gig and platform workers. However, and class 141 section 6 of the code promises dedicated schemes for these particular workers. Though there is a legal backing exists for them, there is no statistics available to make policy, because the statistical recognition lags. That is, the 2025 PLFS has not updated its survey tools or schedules to specifically identify gig workers. Government response in Rajya Sabha confines no targeted classification of this gig workers act. Okay, so what will be the implications of this poor classification? First and foremost, if there is no data, then they will be excluded from certain benefits. That is, lack of visibility in the data leads to poor outreach and delivery of welfare schemes. Obviously, a reason for collecting data is that they can be included in a particular welfare scheme. If there is no data available, if they are becoming invisible, then they will not be availing the benefits of a particular scheme. Then inadequate labor protections, employment uncertainties, lack of social security, and algorithmic control remain unaddressed. Very important. Then flawed policy making, because policies based on incomplete data risk being exclusionary or ineffective. Then recent government measures to address this issue for gig workers, very important, especially students writing mains this year. This become very important. Note down important points here. First one is e-Shram portal, that is registration drive for unorganized and gig workers. Then digital ID cards and Ayushman Bharat health coverage is extended to some gig workers. Then in 2025 Union budget acknowledges gig workforce in welfare design. However, these policy signals are not backed by a robust statistical representation. So, what should be the way forward then? How do you address the issues and make sure that the welfare schemes of the government are reaching the gig workers? So, first and foremost is to collect the data. For collecting data, the PLFS methodology should be updated. Updating PLFS methodology, that is, introduce a distinct gig and platform or category. Then capture variables like app-based engagement, algorithmic control, and multiple job roles. And then create gig work survey module, that is, periodic targeted surveys to understand sector specific conditions, incomes, and protections. And then integrate labor and digital data, that is, linking e-Shram tax and app based work records with PLFS data for better analysis and better outcomes. Okay, though the topic is very simple, but it is very important from a UPSC perspective. There can easily be a prelims question or there can be a mains question. So make down a note of important points which I told you. The conclusion is India has made straight in recognizing the gig workers in the policy and legal terms, but statistical systems like PLFS have not been updated yet. For meaningful inclusion, policy interventions must be grounded in accurate and disaggregated data. Okay. Until then, gig workers will remain recognized but underrepresented both in data as well as in rights. So this is why the topic becomes very important for you. So what are the points which I told you, the data which I told you, and the points which I told you becomes very important for your UPSC preparation. Then if you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.